Hi, I'm Anna. Let me tell you how my ex gave me a toxic swimsuit laced with a deadly poison and how I survived it too. My story started 5 years ago. I was 16 at the time and my parents were already okay with me going to nightclubs to hang out and unwind after a hard week of school. I loved clubs because I could meet all sorts of freaks and weirdos there, and that was how I met the ex-boyfriend I've mentioned. He was twitching and swaying to the music in a way that looked incredibly amusing to me. I was immediately curious about him, so I approached him and broke the ice myself. All I wanted was to mock the funky little dude. Harry was actually little, by the way. He was 5 feet 4 inches, so at 5 feet 7 inches, even I was taller than him. He was 23 years old at the time. We became fast friends, and after a little while our friendship evolved into romance. He had plenty of amazing qualities, but he also had a dark side, which creeped me out. He enjoyed telling me about his ex-girlfriends and the mean stuff he did to the ones who broke up with him. He told me how he scratched a girl's car with a rusty nail really badly. He cut off another girl's long hair after she had been growing it out for 10 years. The third girl was bold enough to have a forest picnic with Harry after they broke up. Well, he marooned her in the woods. He harassed another girl with heavy-breathing phone calls until she changed her number. I tried not to think about the things he'd do to me if I broke up with him too. I really liked him. When we went to the paradise island of Bali together, Harry tried to teach me surfing. I was a really bad student though. He gave me a scolding and then the silent treatment for the rest of the day. I knew I had crossed the line and I needed to make amends. Next day, I was already parasailing, even though my eyes were bulging with fear. To be honest, I had to force myself to do a lot of things I didn't want to do, just to avoid him shouting at me or even hating me. Harry told me he grew up in a poor family and he was the youngest of several brothers. Back in school, everyone made fun of him because he was short and avoided him because of the way he smelled. Harry used to wash once in 2 months back then. He felt very distressed, and the only way he knew how to protect himself was to play dirty tricks on his bullies when they weren't looking. His parents didn't love him either. He never got any gifts for Christmas or his birthday. In fact, he was lucky if he didn't have to beg the kind neighbors for food. Now I understood where Harry's nasty personality traits came from. It's hard to remain kind and compassionate in an environment like this. Anyway, our week in Bali went very well and we were going home. But then we fought on the plane because Harry accidentally broke the lens of my expensive camera. I was so upset I didn't know any better than to give him an ultimatum. Either he pays me for the broken lens, or the only thing I can do after a low blow like this is to break up with him. I knew Harry didn't like to pay his debts. Even his friends never loaned him money anymore because they knew from experience they'd never get it back. But I was hoping our relationship mattered to him enough to care about my needs for once. I was very wrong. He never even called me after we said goodbye at the airport. However, 3 days later, a delivery guy was at my door with an anonymous gift. Oh, I thought, this must be an apology gift from Harry. I unwrapped the package to find a very nice-looking swimsuit. Of course, I put it on immediately. But 5 minutes later, something very weird and alarming started happening to me. I felt extremely sick and my skin was red with rash. 10 minutes later, I was at the hospital. Thankfully, that was fast enough for them to save me. Obviously, it was the swimsuit that had made me sick. As I learned, it had been laced with a poison called strychnine. If they hadn't brought me to the hospital so quickly, I would be dead within an hour. My parents reported Harry to the police and he confessed his crime. After the trial, my ex got 8 years in jail for the attempt on my life. Luckily, there were no long-standing consequences for my health. I have more or less recovered now, and the only thing bothering me is my intense fear of new relationships. Even though I'm fine physically, this incident may have traumatized me for life. Would you like more episodes? Support us by hitting like and subscribe. If you want to see your story in one of our videos, send it to this email address.